Thanks so much for making the time for this quick call. I just thought, as we've both been speaking to participants and potential participants for our World at Heart retreat, it'd be great to kind of just give people an idea of, who are these two crazy women and their horses, and what are they going to make us do? And so they can decide to sign up. And I guess I'll go first. I mean, I'm Jody Day, the founder of Gateway Women, and I've been running the Reignite weekend in London now for 4 years. I think I've done it about 22 times now, which is kind of amazing. And it's sort of become like the Gateway Women's signature sort of experience in a way. And I, I've been thinking for a while, what would it be like to sort of, do it differently, to work with someone else. And then you and I have got to know each other, over Skype and through our mutual work. And I'm just so excited about the idea of kind of combining what you do with what I do. I just think I think it's going to be amazing.
I am too. I
Yeah.
do too. Yeah. Yeah, I'm Christine Erickson, and I've been working with horses and people doing leadership and personal development for the past 9 years now. And when I moved into working with women who are childless by circumstance,
Mm,
after I wrote about a little bit about my own story, I brought the horse work in as a really beautiful healing and connective piece.
mm,
And so our combining that in this workshop will really integrate what we have a chance to
mm,
participate in and learn, and what comes up in the workshop and the
mm,
different pieces that you bring from the
mm,
Reignite and your other work. And the horses help us embody that learning. So it's not just a mental processing. We really get to embody that and experience it in another way.
mm.
And the horses reflect back to us some of the conversations that we're having and some of the truths that are emerging for us. So we find some new tools how to take back with us what we've learned, and what can support us, what kind of tools can support us going forward after the workshop.
Oh, wow, that sounds so powerful. Because I mean, there's only so far you can go with talking.
Sure,
And
absolutely.
a lot of the trauma of childlessness and the trauma of things not working out and the trauma to our identity as women who wanted to be mothers, who aren't mothers,
Exactly.
is stored in our body as well.
It is. And sometimes the work with the horses is completely nonverbal. It's,
Mm,
connecting with someone where they are right now and what they need. It's not about a performance. It's not
mm,
about an exercise where you need to go from A to Z. It's about you and what you need. Sometimes it's just that connective piece, connecting with the energy of a horse that can
mm,
feel healing and healthy in its own right, without any verbal conversation, without any task at hand. It's
mm,
just that relational connection and being held in that energy, a very non judgmental energy.
mm,
Horses don't assess us whether, so often, if an animal does something, we think, oh, the animal likes us or not. My dog likes me or
mm,
not. The horse likes me or not. But that's not how they're assessing us. They're assessing where we authentically are. Does our energy meet our actions?
mm,
So if we're feeling something like fear, for example, and we're saying, I'm fine, I really like horses, they want you to say, I'm afraid. I'm really afraid of you. You're very huge. You're 1,500 pounds. I don't know you. I've
mm,
never been around a horse. Um, and that's what they connect with, is that honesty. And I think so often as childless women, where we are in our process, the conversations of whether it's ambivalence or circumstance or age that we didn't expect, things that came to
mm.
us at these ages of making decisions, we can be met with that in a really honest, held way that is different with a horse saying, you know what, it's okay, you're right where you need to be.
Yeah.
You're right where you need to be. And
That
very,
that's beautiful, and I'm having so many wonderful thoughts about how that's going to weave in to the work that I do and how it's going to support those kind of transformational processes and those aha moments that are
yeah,
kind of part of the weekend. And yeah, that's gonna so you said something then about I'm afraid of you. I mean, is that is that like the kind of thing people ask you about working with horses? What sort of things do people ask you?
Yeah, well, so often because this work is not riding, which is
Mm,
typically what people's association with horses. This is all groundwork, or what we call
mm,
groundwork. So we're interacting, just being on the ground, literally, with the horse and communicating with him or her. And oftentimes that fear is from an experience that happened 30 years ago, 40 years ago, or just the
yep.
idea of
Yeah.
horse. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of very real fear. I have a lot of clients and executive clients as well, who are absolutely terrified
Mm,
of horses. But the way that this work is, it is not, okay, now you must do this and get on a horse and go for a run to the barn. It is communicating at a distance and in a place, in a support. I'll be supporting you. Safety is our
mm,
number one priority. And in a way that invites you to what you feel comfortable
yeah.
with as you do. And that shifts over the day. I have never
Yeah.
seen somebody walk away with the same terrified. And that's not the purpose. It's not, oh, now we're going to get you over your fear. You will move in a way that dissolves things for
Mm.
you. And the horse is the catalyst to that.
That's brilliant. I'm just actually, you touched on something there, which is fear. And I think probably the number one question I get asked before the reignite weekend is, anxieties start to build about, I guess, kind of losing emotional control, because
Yeah.
so many of us, we put on a face to
Yes.
cope with the world and the way it can view childlessness, and the way that people can be incredibly, not always meaning to be, but can be quite hurtful and thoughtless.
Absolutely.
So the idea of coming into a space where, there's an expectation that you're going to talk about it. There's real
Mhm.
nerves that, like, what if I start crying and I can't stop?
Right.
And this is a really common question I get asked, so it must be a very kind of normal fear. And my thing
Yes.
is that number one, if you do cry, you're crying in a healing space
Yes.
amongst women who understand why you're crying.
Absolutely.
So it is a totally different experience. And also, when, crying is a form of signaling protest, signaling distress. If your
Mhm.
distress is understood and met, the
Yes.
need for the tears can go. So
Yes.
actually, they do their work, and we get a sense of calm much quicker. And I have never seen someone not be able to stop crying, but
Yes.
I have heard a lot of women worry about it.
Absolutely,
Mm,
absolutely. And I think that it is the fear of that is because there's so much resistance around us when we
mm,
generally fear that we're going to do it. As you said, there's a group of identifiers, compassionate witnesses that we
mm,
have in each other to hold that space, that
yeah.
release, that necessarily release for healing or clarity or
Mm,
whatever it is we're moving through. And in the horse space, that is a sacred
yeah.
space. You know, I'm there, or anyone supporting me is there to facilitate the safety,
Mm,
to support the person, to interpret what the horse is doing.
hmm.
But it is not an invasive process. It is a very
Yeah.
sacred, held space
Yeah,
for
my
people
work too,
to.
I create a really safe container to do the work in. And
Yes.
also, you know me quite well.
Mhm.
It's also not all about tears and emoting. I mean,
No.
I think when you make a deep connection with people and you're in that sacred space, it can also be a lot of fun. I mean, my
Yes.
workshops are full of laughter and connection, as well
Yes.
as heartfelt moments and quiet moments and reflection. And so I think there's sometimes the idea that it's going to be really grim
Yeah.
doing this work. And actually, I think it's actually can be quite joyful as well.
Absolutely. I think another thing with horses, because this horse work has become so well known in the therapeutic space, like
Yeah.
therapeutic riding and different things. While it may feel therapeutic, it still is not therapy. And so, I mean, you mix an animal and nature and things, anything's bound to go. Some of my best cries with horses have ended in hysterical laughter. You know,
Mm,
whatever it happens, they're
mm,
reflecting back to you. And when you release something, you shift emotion as well. You
yeah.
know, your own joy comes up. That's
Absolutely. Yeah.
healing, and that connective piece. So we're going to spend a lot of time outside, as much as time outside
Yay.
with animals and in reflection, to
Yeah.
have that take some of that pause in between the work that we do as well. So, yeah.
Well, it's been absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it's good. I'm so excited. So if you're watching this, please come and play with us. We're going to have a fabulous time. We're staying in an amazing location that Christine's found. We're working with beautiful horses that Christine knows really well in an amazing place, in one of the most beautiful places in Northern California, with two really kind, compassionate, kick-ass, quite funny women who are going to make a really amazing experience for us. So come and join us.
Special combination.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thanks very much. Thanks for your time. Bye.
Bye.